What's up, YouTube? Welcome to KO Bets, the show where we discuss betting strategies for upcoming UFC events. My name is Bill, and I'm here to help make you some money and provide you with some entertainment tonight. Tonight, we got to go over UFC 294. We've also got to look over last week's event, which was Fight Night Yusuf against Barbosa. We got two main events wrong in a row. NFT update, we are at 67 subscribers. We'll give away an NFT upon hitting 100. Hoping to do that pretty soon. If you enjoy this sort of content, please like the stream, subscribe to the channel. I go live every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. and we just talk about the UFC event on the next calendar day. So we had UFC Fight Night Yusuf versus Barbosa last weekend. Got the main event wrong. Yusuf looked amazing in round one and then just kind of fell apart, thought he should have used some grappling. Instead, kept it standing. Edson almost had a wheel kick highlight KO in round 3, and he just looked fantastic. So congrats to Barbosa, and if you picked Barbosa, we did cash the underdog on Viviane winning. Took Martinez. And those kicks are no joke, and we saw his teammate too, Gutierrez, on this card. Those kicks are no joke coming out of that camp. Giannis definitely messed up his knee that fight, so Giannis will be out for a while. And Martinez just looks like a problem. You can be really, really tough, but eventually the leg gives out, and that's what happened to Adrian. We took Michel Pereira to beat Andre Petroski. I went with Cameron Saman. It was a great fight between the two. I don't know about, maybe I was a little biased watching. I thought it was probably 29-28 for Rodriguez, but I know he did get a unanimous, like a 30-27 I heard out there. So whatever, a little salty about that one. But Saman, 24, looked amazing in this fight. Rodriguez, he looks super well-rounded. He's beat a couple of really good grapplers and now a really good striker in Saman. Definitely want to see him in there, top 25. He probably top 25 opponent, I would say. Maybe top 15 next. He's only 26 as well. He's a young kid. So bright future for both of these guys. Darren Elkins, yes, with the submission in round 3. That was so sick. Lisboa looks really good. Terrence McKinney gets the round 1 KO. We faded Irina just because I'm a hater, but you know, it worked out. Damn, look at Melissa Dixon here. Does she have cross eyes? She's got a little something going on. Chris Gutierrez. Again, those kicks are crazy. And then Emily won. So we got the Christian Rodriguez Cameron Saman fight wrong and the main event wrong, but otherwise we had a really good card making picks. All right, on to UFC 294, just a stacked card. I do have a poll going, if you wouldn't mind. Let me know what you think's going to happen in the main event. Islam's the heavy favorite again, so I decided to go with an over-under prop. So the over-under is 4.5 rounds. I gave you the Vegas odds there, according to Draftkings. Let me know what you think. I'm kind of torn on it. I know who I'm going to pick, but we got quite a few fights to go over before we get there. We've got Shera Magomedov taking on Bruno Silva. Shera's 11-0 professionally. I think he's had 4 fights this year. I was watching a little bit of tape on him just because he is highly... I mean, there's a lot of hype behind this guy. He's taking on Bruno Silva. Both of these dudes with incredible KO power. If we're going to give out any sort of grappling advantage, I got to give it to Shera, but he's got 10 wins via KO. He kicks a lot. He fights on the feet primarily. He has been in grappling matches before, though, you know, like jiu-jitsu tournaments. I'm sure Bruno has as well, but I don't know for sure. But he's got 7 submission losses. You know, otherwise he's got 1 decision loss, I think 1 no contest, or wait, maybe 1 DQ. That's probably what it was. He loses to grapplers. So, I mean, this dude went 3 rounds with Alex Pereira. I think when he fights strikers, he looks really good. But then, like he should have beat Gerald Mearshart, in my opinion, gets submitted. So, I mean, I think the smart move for Shera is to involve some sort of grappling approach. I don't think he will. You know, the kicks are fantastic. I'm just not totally sold on the hype behind this guy, to be honest. So I think I might be fading Shera in his debut just against a really tough opponent. I think the safe bet here is just that, like, the fight doesn't go the distance. Ooh. That's a new one. That's not Bullet. Ooh. That's a different kind. I'm not sure the brand, but I think it's made in Illinois. An Illinois bourbon, and ooh, that's got a bite. Holy cow. Maybe I should make an old fashioned out of that. Not drink it straight. But yeah, you can see both of these dudes. Huge knockout power. There's no way this one goes the distance. I'm going to go with Bruno Silva in this fight. I think Shera's obviously a popular pick, but minus 340 making your debut against a dude who also carries incredible knockout power. I just think, like, this fight is set up to be a tough one. Something I also noticed is when Shera throws his kicks, you know, he does swing his arms a lot for momentum. So if Bruno Silva can pick up on that and just fire a missile straight down the pipe when Shera kicks, especially with that lead leg, where you just need like, you don't have that momentum carrying your leg around your body. You just lean a little bit more, and like how I was taught is like, you know, there was a way to guard yourself. I'm not seeing that really from Shera. I'm just seeing like some arm swinging to generate momentum on his kicks, and he kicks a lot. He kicks an awful lot. So I think if Bruno can pick up on that, fire something straight down the pipe, he's going to win. Odds makers over-unders at 1.5. I like the under. I don't think this is going to go the distance. I think we get some sort of quick finish in this fight. Bruno Silva's plus 270. The knockouts plus 450. Shera, yeah, you can't... I mean, if we're going to say this fight's ending in under a round and a half and it's going to be a knockout between two knockout artists, like, I just like the plus 270 odds here. If it was more of a pick'em, I think I'd still like Bruno Silva. But I think the safe pick's that the fight doesn't go the distance at minus 280. I think the fight lines for under 2.5 minus 225. I think under 1.5. I think winning method knockout. I'm basically thinking it's going to be an early knockout is what I'm trying to say. So probably focusing in that area when constructing round robins, parlays, if I'm going to use that fight. The next fight is Victoria Dudakova taking on Jinyu Frey. I think Dudakova missed weight. I believe the fight's still set to go. Jinyu Frey has not looked the best thus far in the UFC. Has really good boxing, but gasses out pretty quickly. Victoria Dudakova, you know, I didn't make my notes page. I was kind of worried my computer was going to just crash on me. So I'm just going to look up. I know she won her debut. I'm just trying to think. Like, not a lot of her fights go the distance. Only one decision. Mix that with a fighter who just doesn't have a great gas tank in Jinyu Frey. Victoria's going to grapple. She's going to ground and pound, look for submissions. Man, I got to go with Dudakova here. And when in doubt, not that Dudakova's from that region, but when in doubt, folks, roll with the home cooking. There's a lot of chalky lines here. Dudakova minus 535. Like, you're risking a lot to make a return on a girl making her second fight in the UFC. Should win. But it's just, I mean, I don't know what the closest line is. Yaya against Peak, I guess, is the closest, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of value gap between these fighters on this card. So I'm going to say I don't like the fight to go the distance. I think Dudakova gets it done. Just understanding Jinyu Frey does gas out, and we can check her 9 losses if there's any story to be told. 3 KO losses, 1 submission loss. So, you know, I think I like the Dudakova KO or submission plus 150. I think that's probably where I'm looking to bet, as opposed to, I mean, I might do like, fight to start round 2's minus 550. Dudakova and over 1.5 is minus 250. I'd probably look at like one of these. If I can do a same game parlay on this, I don't see them available to now. I'd probably do Victoria and over like a round, you know, like go to the minutes and do over 4.5 there, and I think that would significantly improve your minus 535 line there. Risk less, win more. It's always a good philosophy when you know, putting your money somewhere. Nathaniel Wood is taking on Mahamajan Naimov. Nathaniel Wood, I'm a fan of this dude. I think he's looked great at his new weight class. Yeah, I just think he looks a lot more filled out. Is a lot more durable, and is just like looks really, really fast and sharp at this division. Really well-rounded fighter. I like him a lot. Muhammad Naimov, out of Tajikistan, he had a great debut win, didn't he? I think he might have been an underdog. Yeah, he was taking on Jamie Malarkey as an underdog and just KO'd him. I mean, the dude definitely has good KO power. But I think Nathaniel Wood's just going to be sharper and better as a fighter. I like Nathaniel Wood to win this. Muhammad Naimov also hasn't shown as good of a gas tank as a Nathaniel Wood, so I think that's an advantage for Wood. The longer the fight goes, the more he's just going to pull ahead on the scorecards. So give me Nathaniel Wood to win here. Even the grappling advantage I would put in Wood's favor if it does get there, but yeah, give me Nathaniel Wood to win this fight. I kind of like the over and the fight to go the distance, so I like the Nathaniel Wood decision. Both of Naimov's losses were decisions. I think it's just like points he beats him on. He beats him on volume of output, probably pulls ahead on damage later in the fight, just having bigger moments, and then I think he ultimately just wins a unanimous decision. So give me Nathaniel Wood there. The next fight we've got is Mike Breeden taking on Anshul Jubli. Jubilee's coming off of a first round win, right, in his debut? Oh, second round win. I mean, this is probably... Let me double check before... Yeah, the next one might have it, actually. I mean, Mike Breeden's not very good. He missed weight, too, by 3.5 pounds. But he's not been good thus far in the UFC. 0-3. I mean... It could definitely prove to be a litmus test for Jubilee. I'm going to go with Jubilee here to win this fight. I think he could maybe get a knockout victory as well, but probably a fight I'm going to stay away from betting on. It's just... I mean, Jubilee hasn't fought anyone. Mike Breeden's lost to everyone, so... I don't know. He missed weight. We saw that last week with Saman and Rodriguez. Rodriguez looked really fresh after not cutting the last 4 pounds or whatever he had left. Yeah, we'll see for this one. I'm gonna roll with Jubilee. I'm gonna say that he knocks out Mike Breeden, I guess. They don't even have the Jubilee decision available, so yeah, I'm going to just stay away, I think, from that fight. The next fight we've got is Abu Azaitar taking on Cedriques Dumez. Azaitar hasn't fought in a minute. 2021, March of 2021. Holy shit. Yeah, it's been a little time since his last fight. Lost to Marc-Andre Barriol via KO. I mean, Dumas won his Dana White Contender Series fight. Brundage just had an awful game plan against Cedriques. I think he kept pulling for guillotines. I can't quite remember that fight, but I just remember being pissed off as hell that he was losing to Cedriques. I don't think either one of these guys is particularly amazing. I'm going to just say to, like, again, this fight and this fight probably just going to stay away from altogether. I'm going to go with the underdog, Abu Azaitar at plus 205, I guess is my pick. Just for the sake of, risking less, winning more. I don't think this goes the distance. I think Azaitar gets the KO win. Man, but I'm not putting any money on that one. The next fight is Javid Basharat taking on Victor Henry. Big fan of the Basharat brothers. I think they're super well-rounded fighters. Really seem like students in all facets of the game. Victor Henry is just kind of interesting. I thought he fought great against Barcelos, and then he looked bad against Asuncao, and then he looked pretty good against Tony Gravely. I'll say he's super durable. All 6 wins come via decision. Personally, I do think Basharat's just going to outclass him this fight and be the more technical fighter. Minus 535, though, on the money line. I do not blame people for casting a Victor Henry bet at plus 400. I think this does go the distance to a decision at minus 250, and I just think stylistically how Victor Henry fights, like, his output is huge. He's very durable. He's kind of unorthodox and weird. I think it'd be smart for Javid to get takedowns and secure the win that way. But if it's primarily fought on the feet, I still think Basharat wins, but I think he could get close and interesting. So I'm going to roll with Javid Basharat, no doubt about it. I think he wins. I think he probably wins a decision. At minus 175, I might be looking to construct a same game parlay where we're going they don't really give us much options. There's no strikes or takedowns, but I'd probably try to add that Basharat has more takedowns, or that he has one or more in the fight, combined with that Basharat decision prop. So we'll see if they add anything like that tomorrow, but that's probably my approach there. Man, I think Javid is really, really good, and he's just going to be the better fighter here, no doubt about it. It's just something about Victor Henry. We've got Muhammad Yahya taking on Trevor Peek. This is just going to be a car crash. It's Trevor Peek. Trevor Peek, obviously, all of his fights have ended inside the distance. Dana White Contender Series guy. He'll knock you out with a fucking backhand tomahawk. The dude's pretty raw. Obviously carries great power, but, you know, I don't know. I mean, he's going to be super entertaining, but this fight style is going to be short-lived in the UFC for sure. That being said, I think he's round one knocking out Muhammad Yahya. And if he doesn't knock him out, Muhammad Yahya is knocking his ass out. So I think a safe round robin parlay piece is maybe that under 1.5, under 2.5. Let's see what that's at, minus 285. I'm rolling with Trevor Peek here. I'm rolling with Trevor Peek, round 1 KO, plus 175. Come on, Vegas. Yeah, no one thinks this is going the distance. Round 1 at plus... Yeah, see, I could just do round 1 at plus 120 instead of round 1 KO Trevor Peek. Like, that gives me Yaya. That gives me submissions. Obviously, greater return, but just doesn't seem like enough juice to jump from like that round 1 prop into something like that. I even like the under 1.5. If you haven't watched Trevor Peek yet, he's super entertaining, fun to watch. The last fight of the prelims, we've got Tim Elliott taking on Muhammad Makhachev. Tim Elliott is really solid. He just had a great win against Victor Altamirano. That was a great win. He's a good fighter. You know, he's a good fighter. He's taken on Muhammad Makhachev. This might be Makhachev's first. Is Elliott ranked? No, he's not ranked. You know, Makhachev is super talented, obviously a incredible grappler. You know, had his knee cranked in his last fight. Didn't tap. Was that to Victor Altamirano too? Oh no, that was Andre Filo. Ends up getting the submission of Filo, Gordon late. Went to that 3-round decision against Johnson. I mean, I like Makhachev in this spot. I'm going to say I can't. I mean, minus 395, like, he's good. Elliott's kind of unorthodox. Jumps around a little bit like a Dominic Cruz and has wrestling game of his own. I don't think it's nearly at the level of Makhachev, but I think this should be a competitive 3-round fight, in my opinion. I think I like this one to go the distance. I think I like the Makhachev decision, but definitely not opposed to going plus 310 on Tim Elliott and just taking a stab at it. But I do think Makhachev's obviously the highly touted prospect, clearly a better grappler than probably the majority of the division, if not all of it, and is definitely got his eyes set on the gold. But yeah, I don't necessarily agree with the minus 395 line. Is that what it was? Yeah, minus 395. Don't necessarily agree with that, but yeah, I'll go Makhachev. The next fight, we've got Said Nurmagomedov taking on Muin Gafarov. Holy shit. Welcome to the stream, everyone. I got a few people in here. That's awesome. If you like this kind of content, I'd appreciate it if you like my stream and subscribe to the channel. I've been doing this for a couple years now, and yeah, welcome. Appreciate you tuning in. Said Nurmagomedov taking on Muin Gafarov. Said Nurmagomedov seems like a really, really good prospect. Who did he lose to his last fight? Our boy Jonathan Martinez, unanimous decision. He seems like a really good prospect. He's taking on Moin Gafarov, who I think won his debut, another Tajikistan fighter, and then won his Dana White's Contender Series fight. Oh no, he lost to Castaneda. Moin Gafarov carries big power early, is definitely dangerous early, but I think the longer this fight goes, the more it sways in Nurmagomedov's favor. Moin doesn't have a great gas tank, so I think I like something inside the distance for these two fighters. I'm gonna roll with Said Nurmagomedov to get it done. I kind of want to see the shirt, like with the picture of Moin Gafarov's 5 losses. They're all decisions, man. But Said he's super live and dangerous to, I think, get something done late in this fight. Man, I'm gonna roll with Said for sure in this fight. The over-under set at 2.5. Ooh. Yeah, whoever this, man, this stuff tastes weird. I usually get Bullet bourbon. This is a local bourbon. I'm in Illinois. It ain't good. It tastes like, a little nutty. That's all I'll say. Leave that up for interpretation. I'm going to roll with Said to get it done via submission. I don't know why. I just think this one's going to end inside the distance because of Gafarov's gas tank, and then he's dangerous in round 1. So I also kind of like, I guess, the under 2.5, or the fight to not go the distance at minus 135 there. The next fight, we've got Ikram Aliskerov taking on Warley Alves. And they're not giving us any sort of fight preview, but Warley Alves is going to be super live round 1 for the finish in this fight. Ikram Aliskerov is coming off of a win in his first fight. Was that his debut? Against, Phil Hawes. Gets that round 1 KO finish, and I think this is another great spot for him to get a win against Warley Alves. I think he probably KOs Warley Alves early in this fight. I definitely don't like this to go the distance. I think if Warley wins, it's got to be the round 1 knockout. Odds makers kind of agree with where I'm going. They don't like it to go the distance. The over-under's at 1.5. They like the under. Ikram's a huge favorite. I'd say I'd like Ikram an under 1.5 at minus 175. If we could put together, Ikram knockout. Yeah, maybe that at plus 140. What was it at here for winning method? Plus 120. Something like that. I like the Ikram finish for sure. Warley Alves just doesn't have 3 rounds in him anymore as a fighter. Isn't really the most mobile on the feet, and just, I think, is ripe to get KO'd by Ikram. And then the next 3 fights are just bangers. Muhammad Ankalaev taking on Johnny Walker. I expect Johnny Walker to be a super popular pick this weekend, but let's talk about them both. Muhammad Ankalaev, he's coming off of the was it a split decision or a no contest or something against Jan Blachowicz for the 205 belt, you know, just didn't. I thought he clearly won the fight. I thought he should have had the belt. Not that, like, Hill or whoever's fighting for it next, Pereira and Yuri aren't deserving of it, but I thought Magomed won that fight. Did he die for the crotch the final 2 rounds? Yeah, he did a little bit of that, but I think he's a really well-rounded fighter, extremely technical stand-up, dangerous there. I think in this fight, Johnny Walker's obviously super athletic, fast, strong, powerful, but man, I just don't really see. I mean, I could see Johnny Walker knocking out Magomed. He's got the power to knock out anyone, but I just think it's going to be a little more technical than, like, maybe. Like, I think that's how Johnny Walker has to win, and I think the fight's going to play out a little more technical than that. I kind of like the Magomed, you know, standing on the outside, point striking with this guy and winning the fight in convincing fashion. Maybe not the most entertaining, but I just have this feeling like we're hitting overs on this. I like Magomed here. I like the fight to go the distance. I like the Magomed Ankalaev decision. I think Johnny Walker could get tired, but we saw Magomed get tired. Granted, it was a 5-round fight, but, like, I don't know. I don't really see where Johnny Walker is better than Magomed. I think he's capable, but he's not better than him anywhere. For the co-main event, we've got Kamaru Usman taking on Khamzat Chimaev. Kamaru's coming off of the 2 losses to Leon Edwards, stepping in on short notice for Paulo Costa. 185 debut for both of these dudes. Well, Chimaev, was that against Holland? Was that 185? I don't really remember, but that was his last fight, right? Would have been that appearance. Man, I think Kamaru, wish he was getting a little more respect on the line just so I could make more money on Khamzat, but I like Kamaru a lot. I think he's a Hall of Fame fighter, greatest, I shouldn't say greatest, but one of the greatest 170 pounders ever to do it. I mean, the dude's he's an amazing fighter, but I just think, trajectory wise, you've got Kamaru, who's on the decline, and you've got Khamzat, who's younger, just seems a little more powerful, explosive, physical, like all the things Kamaru usually does well. I just feel like Khamzat's going to be a little bit better at, and then on top of that, he's just going to be a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, and so I'm interested to see where that championship pedigree of Kamaru takes him at 185. I'm interested to see how he looks in this fight, but I just think Khamzat's going to bulldoze him over and just win this one super convincingly and early. Probably a knockout, to be honest. But, I mean, that's no disrespect for Usman. That's just where I see Khamzat at and where I think Usman is heading. I don't think the fight goes the distance. I think Khamzat gets the KO victory, and I think he does it early, like round 1. Maybe if I'm doing a same game parlay, I'm doing under 1.5 at plus 255 with the knockout for Khamzat. I really like him in this spot. I think Costa would have just arguably been a maybe a little bit tougher opponent, just because it seemed more personal between those two. But so if they were just going to stand and bang, like, that's a dangerous spot to be with Costa. But if it's going to be, I just feel like Khamzat's going to be a problem for a lot of fighters. And then the main event, the rematch. Great first fight between Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski. Let me end my poll here. You guys like the under? I'll tell you my pick in a minute here. Oops. Let me do something. Sorry. I don't need this playing in the background. I had Islam in the first fight. I think he was like minus 600 favorite. I mean, the fight, there's no doubt about it. Like, the fight was close. We can pull it up here. Just the recap. It was close. I thought Islam won. Thought he won round 1. I thought he won round 2. Thought he won round 3. And then I think it got a little bit interesting in those championship rounds. I thought it was like 3 rounds to 2. I think the control was a big factor in this, right? The takedown, grappling, exchanges that were forced by Islam. 4 of 9 takedowns successful. Significant strike-wise, Volk had him beat. Scored a knockdown. I mean, both of these guys, I think, clipped each other with some shots that hurt the other fighter. So, I mean, it was a close first fight, and even on short notice, stepping in for Charles Oliveira. I think Alex Volkanovski is going to put up another really, really solid performance, and I think make this a super competitive fight. It'll be interesting to see what adjustments are made. Both fighters are kind of like, talking in a way where they just need to trust themselves more. Like they're familiar with the opponent. I think a lot of things surprised Islam. I think some things surprised Volkanovski, where he had success in that fight. It's gonna be a good one, no doubt about it, but I think Islam gets it done via decision again. So I'm going to roll with Islam Makhachev at minus 250. And I think he just, again, the story is takedowns, control. And I think that's how he gets it done. I think Volk is going to be faster on the feet. Yeah, so I like Islam to just grapple in this, and then I think Volk's submission defense is really good, so I don't think he's at risk of I mean, he really wasn't, he had his back taken in the last fight, but he really wasn't in danger of being submitted ever, so I kind of like, these 3 lines here, personally, so that concludes the UFC 294 pick and prediction portion of the show. We got to get into what's trending on Twitter. Oh yeah, what's going on in baseball? Of course, the Diamondbacks take an early lead. Wow, Houston comes back and wins. That's amazing. Altuve, 2 on, down 2, crushes a 3-run homer. Holy shit. I wonder what the odds were right here. Bottom of the 8th. That's crazy, man. Philly just got on the board, it looks like. Schwarber home run. That dude's a beast. I just saw his regular season stats. I can't. Man, I'm like 30. I can't imagine. I'm 31, but I can't imagine like being like, oh yeah, a guy who hits under 200 is a useful player in the MLB. When I was growing up, like, I remember booing Corey Patterson. Granted, Corey didn't hit home runs, but I remember it was like a Cardinals game prior to the rebuild, and we were at Busch Stadium, and I just remember like booing that dude. He was batting like 230, and we were ripping the dude in Chicago. It might have been worse than that. But he was a highly touted prospect for us. Yeah, because I remember we were good like 01. Yeah, so I guess he was batting 215 this year. And I think it was the like last game of the year. No. I guess it wasn't the last game of the year. It's probably in one of these games that I went to. Or wait. Yeah, it's probably one of those games I went to, but I just remember booing the guy. I can't imagine, but obviously 47 home runs, that's some crazy shit. To be honest, I haven't really paid attention too much to baseball this year. I'm curious, like, oh, that's postseason. Yeah, so it's just crazy to me. You've got this Luis dude. How many at-bats? 574 at-bats. He's batting 354. Acuna, 337 with 80 walks. And then you got Schwarber, 197. Oh, lots of walks at 126. But yeah, kind of crazy, right? Pete Alonso had a low average. Wow. Yeah, and then the Braves were just raking this year. Acuna had 73 steals, and another guy had 67? Holy shit. Acuna is ridiculous. What the hell? That's one of the most absurd things. Like, I used to play fantasy baseball, like categories with a lot of my friends. I'm like, my mind is blown. Like there were years where guys were topping out at like 40 steals. 41 last year. 47. $24. 73. So it just must be like back part of the strategy, right, of baseball again. If you've got, like, I don't know, there must be some sort of analytical study going on, because it definitely seems like a lot more steals are back in the game. But 73, that's ridiculous, man. What's the all-time single season stolen base leader? I know Ricky was like crazy, but what the hell? What's like the most... Is there anyone modern? Ricky Henderson, I guess, is kind of modern. A lot of guys in the 80s and the 100s. What about the 2000s? ...2007, Jose Reyes. You see that? Was 78. I don't know. Oh, this is kind of... My face is kind of over it. That's kind of crazy, man. How absurd. We got a little sidetracked there. That's probably some stupid fucking Roman Reigns thing. Let's see. Yeah, there's some MLB stuff trending. I think NBA starts next week. I'm a big fan of the NBA. Kind of... I should show you my my master trade strategy. DeMar's got to go, and I'm going to give you some reasons why. It's a contract year. He's going to be way more expensive next year. You're not getting DeMar on a less than 30 per year deal, I don't think, unless it's like long term, like 4 or 5 years. You know, I think he's just going to cost more. Vooch, he signed a bargain of a deal with us, but I don't see a player as productive as DeMar not fetching more in the open market, unless like he gets the same stigma he had from Toronto, from the Spurs, coming to the Bulls, which is just, you can't win with them. But I think he's a terrific player. I think it's time to move on from him. I think we need to feature a front court of Patrick Williams at the small forward, and then we really don't have an answer for power forward, so that's kind of what I'd like to address in any sort of trade scenario. When I think of teams I would want to trade with, I thought for a long time like Memphis would be a good trade partner. Prior to last year, I was like, before Jaren Jackson Jr. was Defensive Player of the Year, I thought they were kind of upset with them, and I thought like that would be an interesting trade offer. Or even if you could do DeMar for Bane and some other young piece to make the salaries work, like that would be interesting. I think with the Marcus Smart trade, they've kind of moved past that. assessing the rest of the league, I think New York would be interesting. Granted, they traded Toppin, who would have been probably a serviceable big man. They could lean into the Mitchell Robinson center, and we could, the Julius Randle DeMar swap would work great. Shit, you guys don't like RJ Barrett? I'd take him. I'd even take depth. You'd be stupid to do this trade if you're the that team, but and who else was I thinking? Oh, Fournier. I don't think this will work. Oh, it does. Something like that. Just get a bunch of wing depth and shooting. But I'd really like to see us move on, is my point. I mean, think about teams that are barely making the playoffs. I mean, that is the Bulls, but like, shit, is Miami really interested in getting another star quickly? How about Charlotte? They've been on the verge with a healthy LaMelo. They've got Gordon Hayward on an expiring deal. Are they willing to give up picks? Toronto's lost a lot. I don't know what direction they're going in. Are they going to go for a full rebuild, or are they going to try and acquire another piece? The Clippers, like, they're trying to get James Harden to join up with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook. Like, I think they could probably figure out DeMar DeRozan alongside those guys. I don't think that makes a lot of sense, but I'm just saying that, like, teams that are looking for some sort of improvement to their existing roster, especially if you're getting draft capital, I'd be open to moving DeMar, because I don't think we're going to compete in a conference with Boston and Milwaukee. Like, we're not beating that. We're not beating Cleveland. We're not beating... I think if we play well, we could beat Miami. Miami's just one of those teams, I think, who plays hard and is in close games. I think probably Philly's better than us. I think a lot of teams are better than us. I think Indy might take the leap and be better than us this year. I don't think we're going to be as bad as Detroit, but you get my point. Bulls, just, like, and you got 5 years of Levine or 4 more years of him. Like, just quick start this, right? You got Vooch for 3 years. You got to re-sign Williams. Like, just kickstart a little mini rebuild. Get rid of DeMar. Get whatever capital you can for him, and let's go. Go Bulls. All right, this concludes KO Bets. I appreciate you tuning in. Please like the stream, subscribe to the channel. I go live every Friday night to review UFC fights for the purposes of gambling. My name is Bill. Thanks for tuning in, YouTube. Peace. That was smooth.